It's amazing how good a bio can make you sound. So I hope I haven't raised your expectations too far. Anyway, I'd like to thank Eilish for organising the event and inviting me. The truth is, it's always nice to be asked to speak. So I want to start by telling you a story that I read a couple of years ago in a book that I can never remember the name of, and by an author that I can never remember the name of. But the book was about how men and women deal with different issues, and there was a particular section in it where he was talking to two married couples, both of whom had been affected by a suicide in their family in the recent past. And both the women were really worried about their husband because their husband wasn't opening up or talking about the effects or even what had happened with the suicide. So what he did was he got the two couples together and he took them to a cafe, and he took the two women and he planked them over there at a table, and he took the two men and he planked them over there at a table, and he said, I'll give you an hour, have a chat. So he came back an hour later and he had a word with the two women and said, what do you think? And they said, well, actually we had a great time, but it was a complete waste of time for the two of them. They hardly opened their mouth. I don't know why we even bothered. So then he went to the two men and he said to them, you know, what do you think? And the two of them said exactly the same thing. Best thing I ever did. To actually sit and speak with somebody who I knew understood what I was going through. Best thing I ever did. Now what can we glean from that? Well, the first thing is an actual shocking piece of news. The truth is, men and women are different. And the truth is, men and women communicate differently. And maybe, just maybe, the truth is we need to accept that and start to work with that. Now, a little while after I read that, I was listening to the Ryan Tubridy radio show one morning, not something I do very often, but you know, we all make mistakes. And they were actually doing a segment on bullying. And it was a very interesting segment, and I ended up bringing the show and saying, look, I have a story about bullying that I'd like to share with you. And they asked me to go on air, and so I did. And I told them this story. In 1989, I was on a course with the Irish Navy, which is a military organisation. I know lots of people don't think it is, but it is a military organisation. So it's all men. There was no women in the Irish Navy back then. It was as backward then as it is now. And we were all young, and there's a lot of testosterone around and a lot of masculinity around. But there's one guy on the course, and he's new to the Navy, and he's quiet, and he's very bright, and he's well thought of by our superiors, and he's probably just a little bit too good to be true. So we took the piss out of him, and we had great fun. So we fast forward to the year 2011, years later, and I'm at sea with this new guy, quiet guy, and he's become a friend of mine. And we're sitting in the mess one night. The mess is the bar for those who don't have the military lingo. And we're having a couple of pints and it's just the two of us. And, you know, we start talking about the old times as you do. And the course comes up. And he said to me, can I tell you something about that time of my life? And I said, geez, of course you can. So he told me that every weekend of that course, which lasted for 6 months, he went home to Dublin. And every Sunday evening, before he got the train back to Cork, his brother drove him around Dublin for 2 hours while he sobbed his heart out at the thought of coming back to us. Now, I don't need to tell anybody here that that wasn't an easy thing for me to hear. And I had to go and have a long, hard look and think about myself when that conversation ended. And I had to come to accept that in that situation, I was the bully. Or at least I was one of the bullies. And do you know what Ryan Tubridy said to me when I told him that live on air? He said, that doesn't sound like a conversation two men would have. Now the truth is, that kind of stereotypical thinking and statement is absolutely, totally unhelpful. And there's a whole load of reasons that's unhelpful. But the main one is this. The truth is, that's not true. And here's why. In 2009, I wrote a speech for a Toastmasters group about my journey through depression. I was diagnosed in 2006. That speech ended up being filmed and is available online. In 2014, I was involved in a television show for RTE called How to Be Happy, which is based on a book by Maureen Gaffney called Flourishing, which is a book and a TV show about practices that can help us to be happy, to improve our positive thinking, and help us with our mental health challenges, if you want. And a number of us that were on that show opened up about our own mental health challenges. I have now lost count of the number of men who, having seen that speech or seen that television show, have either approached me personally, directly, or contacted me online to say, I know exactly what you went through, Stan. I too have been depressed. I know what alcoholism does to people. I know what gambling addiction does to people. I know what it's like to be suicidal. And in one case, a guy contacted me to tell me in graphic detail how he didn't take his own life on the night he had planned to take his own life, because his 3-year-old daughter came into his bedroom at 3 o'clock in the morning, somehow knowing something was wrong, and said to him, "It'll all be okay, Daddy." So the truth is, men do talk about their feelings. Men do want to talk about their feelings. But maybe they only want to do it in their own way. And this is nothing new. You take a look at I'm a huge music fan, so there's always going to be a music reference somewhere. You take a look at the lyrics of John Lennon, Bruce Springsteen, Eminem, and a whole load more, Michael Stipe from R.E.M., and the list is endless. And their emotional response to situations is laid out in detail in their lyrics and in their songs. And then if we want to talk about people like Brezzy, who maybe divides opinion, RT's DJ John Murray, who only a couple of years ago came back from a 6-month time off work from depression to have a very, very open and frank and long discussion about his situation. Alan Quinlan, legend of a rugby player. Andre Agassi, legend of a tennis player. Paul McGrath, legend of a football player. And again, a whole load more. Each and every one of them have laid out in great detail their emotional, mental health challenges in either interviews or in the biographies. So it's nothing new. No, I will refer to my notes and I won't apologise for it. So why then does Ryan Tubridy's view that that's not the type of conversation men will have? Why is that kind of the predominant thinking? Maybe, just maybe, as Winston Churchill once observed, it's because a lie will get halfway around the world before the truth has a chance to get his pants on. Or maybe, just maybe, it's because if we hear something often enough, men don't talk about their feelings. Men don't talk about their feelings. Men don't talk about their feelings. That somehow becomes a different type of truth. Or to use an American phrase, an alternative fact. But the truth is the truth. And the truth is men do talk about their feelings. And the truth, as the saying goes, can set you free. So I'm going to kind of ask each of you now tonight that the next time somebody says to you, men don't talk about their feelings, would you consider saying, well, actually, the truth is, they do.
Yes.
Because that tiny little action could be enough for somebody somewhere to open up about their mental health challenges, and it could be enough for somebody somewhere not to take their life. And God knows we're losing enough people, and particularly men, to suicide. And if we can just stop one of them, then that's a good thing. Of course, everything I've said is founded on my belief that if we're going to change, or we're going to change anything, it has to start with us. And it has to start with our personal beliefs and our personal actions. So if I'm going to ask you to be a little bit more honest in the future, or at least consider that possibility, I think it's probably appropriate that I end with something that is a personal truth of mine. So I'm going to leave you with a poem that I've written, because it'll save me standing here for another 25 minutes. It kind of condenses a whole lot of things into a short space of time. And just before I read that, I'd like to thank Elish again for the invite. The truth is, it's been a pleasure. So the poem is called Policy of Truth, and it's written using Depeche Mode song titles. And I would dearly love to live in a world where I was talking to an audience where what I'm about to say doesn't apply to 1 in 4 people. But it does. But the good news, the second part of this poem also applies to 1 in 4 people and every person. The truth is, tonight, a dark trance spent the night. The truth is, this happens all the time to broken, damaged people. The truth is, I am broken, damaged, fractured. The truth is, it's no good being broken, damaged, fractured. The truth is, fractured, damaged people feel free love is strange love. The truth is, broken, damaged people are always fools to fragile tension. The truth is, fractured, damaged people rush to pain. The truth is, broken, damaged people, surrender to addiction, fall into the abyss. The truth is, for broken, damaged people, choosing the dark road is the price of love. The truth is, choosing the dark road is a pain that I'm used to and suffer well. The truth is, fractured, damaged people always rebirth stories of old. The truth is, in a world full of nothing, scared, sacred shame soothes my soul. The truth is, addiction tears you apart. The truth is, sometimes, in the dead of night, I wish I were dead. The truth is, I promise you, I will hold on. The truth is, the child inside is miles away, gone, lost. The truth is, all I ever wanted was to shake the disease. The truth is, I just can't get enough of endless excess and compulsion. The truth is, I'm useless. Gone too far. A horror story. The truth is, pain stripped my joy. The truth is, pain shouldn't have done that. The truth is, one thing, one caress can light my sun. The truth is, the future starts here. The truth is, when turning away from condemnation, I feel love. The truth is, I promise you, I will just try. The truth is, the great outdoors soothes my soul. The truth is, better days remotivate me. The truth is, nothing is impossible. The truth is, I'm in control. The truth is, I like that insight. The truth is, I am human. And the truth is, I am you. Thank you.